What is up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my round 3 matchup from the Madden Classic on the Xbox console, and this one comes down to the wire. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. If you guys are looking to take your game to the next level in Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players in the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. Most recently, I just dropped my Nickel 2-4-5 defensive game plan with coverage rules for every single popular meta formation, zone drop setups, man setups, zone blitzes, the best pass rushing cocktail in the game, and gap shooting run defense for all of those pesky run plays down in the milk and goal line situation. So definitely go check out that gameplay. It has been getting rave reviews. You can mix it with my Nickel 3-3-5 defensive game plan out of the 3-4 defense. Definitely recommend that. So go check it out. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. So let's go ahead and get right into it. My round 3 matchup from the Xbox One Madden Classic. This is against Chris Football 5. He is the Buccaneers. I am the Packers. And he'll be starting off here on offense. And you see that I am in the 2-4-5 defensive game plan, and I have a lot of checks via motion. You see I'm able to reset some things. He looks for that tight end delay fade, and we're right on top of it to start the game as Raven Green with a huge interception gets me on offense in field goal range to start this game. Now, I do want to apologize to those of you that are viewing this video and you think it's a little bit too long. I actually had this edited up completely with all the in-between play fluff, all the pre-snaps stuff basically edited out of this video so I could make it a more bite-sized video for you guys to watch. Unfortunately, right after I spent all that time editing out the plays, my power went out. So I didn't have the project saved at that point, and it went right out at the worst possible time. So I'm going to go ahead in the interest of saving myself a little bit of time to make sure I get a video out today. I'm just going to go ahead and commentate over the whole thing. And I actually think that it was a pretty good game. So, in terms of picking a game to commentate the whole thing, I think this was a really good one. So a lot of teachable moments in this here as I start the game off with a power O. I am in the Las Vegas Raiders offense. You guys know that I'm more of an under center player typically, as I mentioned in the last video. But for this particular tournament, obviously the Packers having Rodgers with the gunslinger, you basically view that as the most powerful ability in the game. It's a necessary evil, in my opinion, to pass the ball. I think that Tom Brady is fine too, but part of the problem with him is that he has the pass lead elite, which still uses a regular wind-up animation, and could lead you into a little bit of trouble here. So I choose the Packers, and I think Trips tight end is the best offense to run with the Packers for rigs. So it's definitely not an offense I've spent a ton of time in. I have labbed this pretty extensively for the purpose of the Classic, but as you guys know, I'm more of like a Washington football team offense guy. I do like to kind of dabble a little bit in the under center. I've run the Pittsburgh single back wing stack. I ran the San Francisco ace personnel, but I found myself basically going back into bunch, but I don't have the ability to use a hot route master with Rodgers. So I had to learn this offense on the fly for this tournament. I feel like I played okay. You see right here, I go to a little flat rack swerve, and I get a terrible animation here with Tavon Austin. Now, right here in this spot, knowing that I have ball at half, I probably should take my points since he donated me the ball in field goal range. But I also think that coming off my big win in the first game that I played that I uploaded yesterday on the video, that I'm kind of running hot right now offensively. So I go ahead and play with the house money right here. 4th down and 1. I check out of the trips tight end into the bunch tight end, and I'm looking for Devontae Adams right here, thinking I'm gonna use that route tech, and you see he lights up right here. So I decide to go ahead and throw it. I think I've got a 1-play score, and he actually gets a pass breakup. Fun fact right there, if I were 6 yards closer to the end zone, I would have been inside the 20. The red zone threat would have aggressive caught that. But Fortunately for my opponent, he gets a pretty solid pass breakup. I thought I had the separation right there, but that was kind of the theme of this game for me, in my opinion. I feel like I did a lot of things right in this game, and I just had a lot of bad luck go against me. No, you guys have all been there. We've played games, whether it be MUT seasons, weekend league, regs, CFM, where the game just doesn't feel like it's in your best interest. You know, you're doing things and you're not quite understanding why the game is breaking the way it does against you. So you guys are going to get a full look right here at basically what I do here. I'm not going to go into too many of the coverage rules, but you guys know that I like to base out of, you know, quarters, palms, and I bring a little bit of pressure as well. Right here, he shifts into the trips tight end to the other side. I use Jair Alexander. He throws the ball out to the flat to Logan and picks up a first down. So solid adjustment right there by him. So at this point, I decide I'm not going to play a man alignment. I'm going to go ahead and play a default alignment just to give him an extra body outside the tight end, make him think that he can't just take that table route, and see if maybe he'll shy away from it. So that was the first real adjustment that I made to my opponent in this game, as he has a first down and 10 from the 37. This game was full of crazy moments, in my opinion. I think this is you know, one of the more high stress games certainly that I played all year long. It comes down to the final play, is a little bit of a spoiler alert here, as he audibles into the I form close. Now this is a theme. I noticed a ton of this. He goes a little play action setup right here. Again, dumps it into the flat. So right now he's playing underneath. He's starting to, you know, settle in a little bit after that first drive where he threw the interception to Raven Green on the delay fade. Maybe played a little bit too aggressive on his opening drive. Maybe thinking that he's fortunate that I pressed and went for the big play on 4th and 1 and gave him an opportunity to, you know, kind of start fresh. So he starts to slow down his pace just a little bit. I will say that I noticed one major thing with this guy as I play through this game. He loves, absolutely loves, to flip his play and quick snap off of his play. So he'll come out in bunch, or he'll come out in trips tight end, he'll audible into something else, and then he'll quick snap it. So that is one theme that I noticed here early on, is Rashawn Gary was able to pick up a sack and a loss of 11 right there. The Packers play this defense so well. You know, it was a little bit funny that, you know, a number of players say that this 2-4-5 is just a regs defense, or I'm sorry, a MUT defense, but you see here that it applies here on regs is Raven Green with his second interception of the first quarter. And that Raven Green, he's a low overall player. I play him at sub linebacker, and he played really well throughout this whole tournament for me. As you see right there, 2 interceptions in this game. You go back and watch the tape from the previous upload that I put out. He played really well in that game as well. I think the Packers are very well equipped to run nickel packages. You've got obviously Perry Nickerson, who is, I believe, 93 speed. You've got Jair Alexander, obviously, who's one of the best, if not the, you know, the single best defensive back in regs right now. You've got Kevin King, who you can play up as a, you know, a safety, kind of take advantage of his size, not necessarily the burner. So moving him to the back line is nice. And then they've got a number of safeties. They got Adrian Amos. Darnell Savage is a really good user. And then you've got a solid slot corner in Holloman that is pretty fast and plays well on all Madden. And then, as I mentioned, you've got Raven Green, who can play that other sub linebacker position here, as I'm dealing with a 2nd down and 10 from the 39-yard line. And I kind of noticed that when people audible into the bunch tight end, it's a ton of boot over with the tight end delay fade. So for me personally, when I do that, it's more window dressing. I want players to think I'm looking for a delay fade, but I really want to attack the sideline. As you see right there, I went with a sideline flood. Unfortunately, I stepped past the line of scrimmage right there. So the illegal forward pass sets me with 3rd and 15. And again, I'm running this trips tight end. I'm a little bit, you know, methodical in trips tight end, just because I haven't spent a ton of time in this. Like I said, I started labbing trips tight end for this tournament basically about a week and a half, 2 weeks before this tournament. So I'm definitely not on that TNC level of the trips tight end, but I know enough of what I'm doing to pass the ball somewhat adequately. So 4th down and 13 right here. You know, I decide that being on the 42, if I pump this for a touchback, it's a 22-yard net. You know, if I throw the ball downfield up for grabs, you know, it could be an arm punt. So I decided to leave the offense on the field here, and I immediately see that he's in man coverage. You saw right there that he was in the mid blitz type look. So I motion a C route over, smart route it, so I get the route tech to activate, and I throw on the cut, and Davante Adams burns the one-on-one down the sideline for the one-play score. So my opponent right there got really aggressive on 4th down. The fact that he switched from what was a pretty good zone defense against me into that mid blitz or cover one hole style look, I knew I was getting some sort of man, especially because all of his DBs were aligned on the trip side of the field right there. So that was an easy pickings play for me right there with Davante Adams motioned across. I knew the route tech would light up on that route. That was stealing. He basically donated me a touchdown on that. So I take a lead 7-0. And most importantly, you notice right there, he's already burned 2 timeouts in the first quarter. So he's going to be in a spot where, you know, managing the end of half scenario, especially with me having the ball, that could play into my hands a little bit later on in the first half. So he starts his next drive off in the bunch tight end. I'm going to go to the tight end delay fade defense, but he motioned, so I had to check out of it, go to a different look right here. And the theme of the offense for this guy was vertical attack with one route that's breaking across left to right and one going right to left. And you're going to see this theme throughout the entire game with this guy. I actually really struggled with stopping this guy. You know, what's kind of interesting is here is I'm watching my play art. You know, the play art for quarters and palms is basically the same. So you're not really getting a lot of the nuance. You just see that this is my play art, but there are very, very intricate rules to these defenses that I explained on gridirongameplans.gg that allow me to be in a spot where I am defending most of these concepts very well. But right now he's giving me trouble. He's really attacking vertically and using some of these deeper crossers and basically saying, hey, you know, I'm going to ask, if you're going to run match, I'm going to ask, you know, your Jair Alexander, I'm going to ask your Nickerson to have to play those guys. And you see right here, he goes to that tight end delay fade rollout, and I've got the defense set up for it. This particular defense is right here on this YouTube channel. I have shared this tight end delay fade PA boot over defense on the website, and he had to ditch, or I'm sorry, on the YouTube channel, and he has to ditch that for a quick intentional grounding call. And I was trying to remember that play right there. He actually went right back to it, tried to hit the tight end post over the middle. And you know, I'm going to stay right in this defense. I've got 2 stops in a row. He checks, he goes to the motion. He doesn't want me to blitz off the edge, so he goes to that motion. And here you go again, 1 crosser right to left, 1 left to right, and he lasers me right there. Right there, you notice I actually kind of played a drop zone. I didn't play any match. It opened up the middle of the field, and I had to guess on which crosser he wanted, and he threw to the correct guy. So picks up a first down. I'm pretty frustrated with myself right there. I feel like I had him on the ropes, got the intentional grounding. He almost threw a pick on the play after that, and then I just gave him a first down. So right now, still feeling out what he wants to do. He goes to the trips tight end. He's looking to cross the middle, and I'm all over it. Again, understanding how you are responsible for certain routes and certain scenarios, who your key is on a given play when you're playing match coverage, and how it allows you to freelance is very, very crucial. Right here, he audibles into the strong close, and I didn't like what I was looking at right there. So I go ahead and call a timeout because I was not in the correct alignment. Here he goes ahead and comes out in the gun bunch to the wide side. And I know he's looking for flood, so I fly over there. He saw it and smartly throws the ball away. I was kind of baiting that out cut. That's one of the more popular routes that players like to throw against the match quarters. And that deep out route from bunch is a really, really good route. So, you know, just understanding that that's where I have to be is crucial as he goes to another tight end post. Again, the theme of this guy's offense is when he needs a chunk play, he's going to drive the seams, and then he's going to run a post from the tight end and a crosser from the opposite side. So again, he dings me with that little route combo. Here I'm setting up an inside zone gap shoot with Kevin King, trying to bait him into that call. And that's exactly what he goes to, is the inside zone, and I get that TFL. It's gonna be 2nd down and goal from the 6. Again, I'm gonna line up right there. He checks into an I-form package, so now I'm looking for the power row, and it's great run blocking, and he finds the end zone for a touchdown as Logan is gonna tie this ball game up. So my opponent, you know, right here, I'm kind of thinking to myself, I'm playing good defense. I'm bad on 3rd down right now. And yeah, I gave him an opportunity to pound the rock from, you know, the goal line scenario. But, you know, at this point, I'm kind of thinking to myself, you know, I'm not too impressed with what I'm seeing out of my opponent. I know where he wants to be on third down and long. It's just a matter of baiting it correctly and making that timely adjustment. Wasn't the most complicated offense in the world, but it was effective. So I'm going to go back here on offense. Again, I'm going to be in the trips tight end. And I am going to do a decent amount of audibling down as well. Sometimes I'll sneak a running back into the game. Tavon Austin, Tyler Irvin. Really not much of a difference between the two players, in my opinion, in regs. Obviously, one player allows you to audible down into some of the I-form stuff, you know, whether it's the I-form close or the I-form H slot or the strong close. The other one obviously allows you to check into more of your bunch tight end or other 11 personnel type plays in this playbook. So again, kind of sticking with the theme of multiplicity. I talked about that yesterday in the upload about how having multiple schemes from the same playbook is really, really important. And I think that's part of the reason that right now offensively, in terms of how Mutt is going, I'm actually looking at the spread offense. I think that the spread offense is something that is overwhelming. There's 33 shotgun formations in the bunch offense, but if you can actually kind of size them down into what's useful and what's not, it can be a real pain. I'm actually enjoying offense for the first time all year in Mutt, even against the man coverage meta. But obviously this is regs. We're not going to be running the spread playbook. And I'm checking down into the stretch lookie right there out of that I-form H slot against the 3-5 wide, and he plays good defense. So third down and 9. This is not a great spot to be in. I'm thinking to myself, let's go ahead and take this to 2-minute warning. At least he doesn't have any timeouts. Again, coming back to bite him from early on in the first half. And now right here on third down and 9, I'm thinking I can't really be conservative. I mean, 40 seconds, I'm still gonna have to punt him the ball back, you know, with 1:20 to go. That's more than enough time. And he's actually picked up chunk yardage pretty well against me so far, even though I've known what's coming. So I go ahead and motion Davante Adams across. I'm looking for Tanya to drive off the coverage, open up the crosser to Irvin. I think that, you know, the fact that Irvin's on the field maybe baits him into a bad coverage defense, and I'm able to find Davante Adams back across the field on the slant. That's another thing too, is that sometimes being willing to throw from the shotgun with a second running back on the field, a lot of players view the fact that you have two running backs on the field as an unwillingness to throw. So being able to mix in a somewhat adequate passing attack from the formation you call is important. Right here, going down in the I-form close, he had good outside run defense on that last example, so I went ahead and went with an ISO to the weak side here, and nothing doing. Second down and 9. So right here, I'm kind of thinking, okay, I need to at least get myself 3 here before the half. I have ball coming out. You know, this is that perfect scenario that we always talk about, to be able to kind of bookend scores. You want that last score of the first half and that first score of the second half, that double dip, if you will. So we go to the boot over, the standard meta, we roll out, his user's there and then leaves for no reason, and then I throw the delay fade to Tanyan and pick up enough yards to make it a third down and 2. So 116 and ticking. Right here, I'm thinking this is a perfect bet hedge scenario. I'm out near midfield. He has no timeouts. So I go ahead and shoot clock right here, thinking to myself, well, you know, I want to make a safe play, a safe pass play, maybe a run if the look is right, because that will bare minimum right here allow me to take this to the half if I'm not able to pick it up. Right there, nice stop and go with Aaron Jones, and I pick up the first down. So I think that's the perfect game management call right there. You know, if you throw the ball and you throw an incomplete pass, now you're punting him the ball with 40 seconds left. If you run the inside zone and you pick up the first down, you can burn the timeout. Now all of a sudden I'm in a spot where 40 seconds and 1 timeout. I'm basically a first down away from a field goal. So I feel pretty good about that call in this spot. Again, I go back to the flood to the wide side. My opponent does a good job with his zone drops. Again, I'm going to roll out, looking for Tanyan. He stays on it, so I go ahead and ditch that out of bounds with 32 seconds left. So again, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking at any point I can go ahead and just call a run and take this to half. So I'm still in a passing down right here on second down and 10. Obviously it's a passing down, but you know, from a game management standpoint, I mean, I can do whatever I want is what I'm saying. So Adams across the formation in motion. I'm gonna look for a skinny post. I've been trying to, you know, hit a lot of the, you know, the tight end shallow. I'm looking for Davante over the middle, but he called a good coverage shell. And now I leak Tanyan down the middle. His user left him. I love tight end delay fades. You guys know I'm the king of the barbers. You know, the tight end delay fade last year became popular. I don't want to say I'm claiming it because it's a route, but like it's definitely my favorite route to throw. I think it holds the user honest, no matter if you're in man or zone this year. And I was able to pick up a first down there with Tanyan, and I'm content to go ahead and let this you know, this clock tick down. I haven't been chunking him up for big plays, so to expect myself to do that with one timeout in 30 seconds from, you know, 40 yards away or 33 yards away wasn't really in the cards. So I'm content to go up 10-7 at half and have the ball coming out and see if we can go ahead and put an end to this guy's tournament hopes. Truthfully, I mean, I feel like, yes, the offense hasn't been super high octane. I picked up, you know, the timely third down conversion on the slant. I've run the ball somewhat effectively. And, you know, I'm thinking to myself, defensively, I've actually had this guy kind of scrambling. He wants to pick up big yards. He's getting himself into a lot of third down and longs. I'm just not getting myself off the field. So, you know, I feel good. It's not a situation where I'm feeling like I'm hopeless on defense. It's just a situation where I need to execute on third down and long more. So start the next drive off with trips to the short side. I know a lot of you are cringing. I go ahead and quick snap it. So that's a pace play. I've been doing a lot of motion in the first half, a lot of slow, methodical type audibling down. Right there, I started off, I go trips to the short side, and I just quick snap that inside zone and pick up a cheap first down out to midfield. So again, changing your pace, maybe catch your opponent on a user that he doesn't want to be on. Those are all little things that you have to pay attention to in Madden. I think that pace of play and clock control are the two most important things in competitive Madden. Again, I'm going to go look for the check down here, playmaker Jones across the field, and the deflator. The deflator hits him. You see right there, Levante David comes over. And this is kind of where I'm starting to feel like, oh man, come on, like we're gonna bail this guy out. I feel like I've got a death grip on this game at this point, in terms of dominating pace and dictating flow on both sides of the ball. But here we go. You know, 10-7. Now it's his ball after the fumble. Yeah, I mean the deflator is a real thing, right? But you know, you just kind of expect that Aaron Jones with his backfield, you know, his backfield master or backfield mismatch. To be able to handle that situation very well after the catch, because that ability basically says that he's going to be pretty solid catching the ball, you know, and after the catch against linebackers. But that deflator really laid into him right there, probably due to the fact that I ran the inside zone on the first play of the drive. So coming back to him maybe after the long run is what caused that fumble. But nonetheless, second down to 10 coming up after he ditches that ball away. Again, you see I'm playing well on the early downs. First and second down, I feel like I'm playing really, really solid. Here I decide to switch up my defense. Again, multiplicity. I've been showing him nothing but nickel 2-4-5 so far in this game. I go to my 3-3-5 defense. Some of you know it is the Bobby V, the cross zones. And you see that I'm able to kind of flow out there. And again, he hits that tight end post, his favorite route. I'm starting to, in my head at least, sense that theme that, okay, his go-to is always going to be the tight end post, always. Again, back into the iPhone Pro, goes a little play action. I've got a Mabel set up this time. So right here, we're able to get him to ditch this ball. He doesn't trust it. Brady can't throw it away. And honestly, this has got to be a pick. This is where I'm starting to, in my head, get a little bit upset. As you see right there, I capture that. You know, I'm thinking to myself, like, come on, man. Like, you know, obviously, like, I fumbled. Now you throw a fall away Kobe to the backside of the field to nobody. You don't even know who's over there, and I don't get a pick. Now he audibles from one bunch into the next. I go ahead and reset my rules. I get over. He plays the sideline flood. He gets matched. Jair, and he gets an ag. And so it's like, okay, like this is what we're doing. This is really what we're doing right now. And this is kind of where I'm going to take a little bit of a moment, obviously, with this being a longer commentary. This is where I just kind of want to like ask more of the dev team, man. Like, gotta be better. This game has got to be better. Like, I understand that when we're playing this game regs or we're playing weekend league, you know, this is you know what Madden is, but I just don't understand how when you're playing a game where that top left corner of the scoreboard says comp, that you could allow somebody to, you know, throw a ball off their back foot blind across the field 50 yards all away to nobody, and all you're going to do is give my guy a SWAT animation, and then on the very next play he makes a poor decision to throw a corner route into match coverage, and ags me. Just absolutely ags me. He didn't have deep out elite. That right there was a good dot. As again, that tight end post is his go-to, and I just haven't done a good job of guarding that tight end post at all in this game as he takes a 14-10 lead. So right here, I'm definitely on tilt. I am definitely on tilt. I'm not going to lie to you at all. I feel like, yes, he definitely has thrown those tight end posts well. That's where I've got to be better. But when you're thinking about the fall away, when you're thinking about the ag, when you're thinking about the fact that you fumbled on a nice playmaker with a player that you can rely on, you just feel like things are slanting the opposite direction. This is a very, very easy situation to get tilted in a single elimination tournament, but you got to keep your head on straight. Right here, I return the ball. Small mistake right there. You got to get to a hash mark, one side or the other. As soon as you're about to get tackled, you got to get to a hash mark so you can run your offense from somewhere other than in between. This is what pro Madden players talk about all the time. Your offense is labbed on the hash. Trips is a wide side offense. Bunch is a wide side offense. These are really important things to remember because the routes, in particular the zones, tend to react differently when you're in between the hashes. So all that lab work that you do in the name of consistency, it's really, really important. Now, you also see what being in between the hash can do for you as well. As you saw, his zone went from the sideline, sucked to the inside, and it opened up that throw to Tavon Austin. Might have gotten a weird route bounce had I not been in between the hashes. So something that I made a mistake actually worked for me in that regard there on that play as I pick up a big first down quickly inside the red zone. Go to the quick snap, stop and go cutback. Aaron Jones, another first down inside the 5-yard line. So again, being in the Raiders book, we're going to go on that old school Madden 20 Oakland tour. We're going to be coming out in the strong H wing. We're going to be looking to run this stretch looky. He did not like his look at all right there, so he burns the timeout. Again, the theme of the first half was he burned timeouts, in kind of some weird spots. And, that might be something you can get away with doing in the first half, but that could really come back to bite you in the second half because those are timeouts you have to have super late in the game. So right here, 3-3-5. I know that he's looking for the stretch looky, so I go ahead and motion across. I'm going to run the dive. I catch a block from Mercedes Lewis, swerve to the right side, and Aaron Jones finds the end zone. So just like that, I'm able to go back out in front, 17-14. Again, though, just kind of thinking like this game shouldn't really be a game. If you think about it, the fumble, yeah, you could argue I ran into that. Of course, you could. But, the throw off his back foot, the ag that he got, he's not really played a great game offensively. I know that I've struggled with the tight end post. I know that in the back of my mind, like that's the route I have to guard right here. But I'm also wondering to myself, like, how does this dude have 14 points? And that's kind of what I'm getting at here when we are playing this game. It's just like, I feel like competitive Madden deserves better. We can't be having games where guys are getting second, third, fourth opportunities to stay in competitive games. I understand when it comes to weekend league, you're trying to keep people playing the game, but like in an MCS tournament, like I just can't help but feel like it feels grimy. I'm not trying to whine in this, but it just feels grimy. There's way too many plays, and I saw this throughout the entire weekend as a whole. I saw a lot of pro players lose in some of the most horrific ways. You wouldn't even wish that on your enemy, the way some of these guys lost games to be eliminated in a single elim tournament. I totally get when people say like, oh, I don't enjoy regs. Like people say, oh, regs is the worst. Is it really the worst, or is the fact that the gameplay is just really wonky in a single elim, is that what makes you feel like it's the worst? As you saw right there, a little window dressing, motion back and forth, goes to a little power out to the weak side. I'm content to stay in this nickel 3-3-5 here. Again, talking about that multiplicity, I feel like I'm a little bit stronger with my gap shoots. In a tournament setting, I feel like I'm, a little bit better off. Right here, his user in the pocket told me where he wanted to go. This is something that's really underrated. When you're playing someone who has a little bit of a two-way go, a crosser going left to right and a crosser going right to left, feel how their quarterback moves. A lot of times they're going to tell you which one they want to throw to based off of where they drift in the pocket. Right there, I was just able to jump the one to the left because Brady was going left. At that point, he's not going to throw the ball off his back foot. Well, I guess technically he might throw the ball off his back foot. As you see right here, I go back. He tries to throw that post. I'm on it, but he gets a diving catch right there. So I'm starting to really stare at OJ Howard. He's really been the only guy hurting me in this game. And that'll be the last play of the third quarter as he's right back out to midfield to start the fourth. 17-14, my lead. 5 minutes to go in this game. Trying to get into that next round. Right here, I go to a mana line. He audibles back under center into the I form close. Again, I'm more comfortable in the 3-3-5. I've been shooting runs all year out of this formation. You see right there, a nice little tackle by Redmond is going to set him up 2nd down and 11. So once again, we are in a spot where we've got him behind schedule. He's going to go into the bunch. Last time he ran that flood concept to the wide side with the backside slant. That's kind of what I'm expecting right here. I'm in the quarters rules. I have, you know, all my checks down, motions to the outside. And this is a different play right here. He tries to go to the corner route. Great route combo right there as Mike Evans picks up a 1st down. So solid mix up right there. Honestly, one of the better dots he threw all game, in my opinion. Again, starting off in bunch tight end. I'm not going to let him quick snap, tight end, delay, fade, roll out on me right here. You see right here, I go to a vertical hook. He motions across. I check out of my call. I go into a hybrid style coverage. He's looking for the crosser left to right, right to left. And that time we have him bagged and he throws it over the top. I get the interception animation, but then I get dunked on. So come on, what the hell is going on here at this point? This guy has scored 3 touchdowns. You could really easily argue that this game ought to be 17-7 right now, with 2 of these touchdowns that he scored. So once again, I find myself in a spot where I am down by 4:15 to go in the ball game, and I don't know where to look. I don't know where to look because it's not in the mirror. The guy in the mirror is not responsible for the fact that I'm losing at this point. You know, it's just one of those games where it's like I'm trying to fight to overcome everything. So I'm going to be honest with you guys right here. I'm pissed. I am super pissed at this point. I feel like I am getting screwed out of a game, and I tell myself right here, this is the last drive. I tell myself this: win, lose, or draw, this is the last drive of this game. My opponent is not seeing this football again. 4 minutes, I've got to go down and make this impossible on him to have any fluke go back his way. And again, the guy burns a timeout. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to my opponent. I'm really, truly not. But this guy, you've gotten all the fluke in the world, and you're taking bad timeouts on top of it to put yourself in a spot where you might not be able to see the ball again with any time to allow the fluke that you've been getting to get you back into this game. So, hey, 1 timeout with 4 minutes to go in the game, just another factor going my way, even though he's doing his most to try to lose the ball game. Motion across here. I'm going to go with a little spacing concept over the middle, drag. You see right there, that hitch to Tanyan makes him stay home. That opens up the drag underneath. And I'm cool right here. You know, let's just stay on schedule. Let's just pick up positive yardage, put ourselves in third and short, 4th and manageable. You know, those types of situations is what I'm looking for right here. And most importantly, I want this clock. I know I'm down 4, but I want to clock this game out. That's all I'm thinking. Right here, I go with a little vertical attack. I'm trying to look for that post. I don't trust my read right there, so I dump it underneath. That was probably a dangerous read. Probably a dangerous read. It could have very easily been dropped or picked right there. But Tavon Austin holds on to it, 3rd down and 5. Again, sticking with the trips tight end, trips to the wide side of the field. Right here, I'm going to look for, like, they call it the idiot beater. It's a little out and a hitch. This guy gets out underneath of it. I stared at the X route, didn't want to throw it because of that route bounce. I always get really nervous about route bounces. So especially in that spot, I wasn't going to throw that route sitting on the left sideline and have it run right back over the middle into a zone for an interception. I instead opt to playmaker Devontae Adams over the middle. And my reliable receiver picks up a 1st down and takes a deflator right there. So again, now we're in a spot 2:20 and ticking on this game. I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, yeah, I know I'm not even in midfield right here, but this is the last drive. You can tell the way I'm playing pace wise. I'm telling myself, you know what, no matter what happens, this is it. This is it for me. So I'm content to let this go to the 2-minute warning. I'm not going to snap the ball right here. Especially with this guy only having 1 timeout. I know that if I can get down near the goal line, he can't do anything to get the ball back. So this guy's clock management has put himself in a spot where, you know, with all the fluke in the world that has gone his way in this game, he is in a rough spot if I can get down there into scoring range. Here I'm looking for a coverage splitter. I'm looking for a too high safety look. I tried to step up and throw that post, but again, pocket degrading, and I wasn't trusting Valdez-Scantling to beat that inside quarter there. So I scramble with Rodgers and I take a hit. Now that's an important thing to talk about right here. I think the clutch trait matters. You know, I'm one of those people that does believe traits are super, super important. Things like high motor for getting guys to shed. And I think clutch, to me, I feel like quarterbacks that have the clutch don't fumble when they scramble. I really don't. When you're in a situation like this, that's why I was willing to take that hit. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was the best decision in the world. He gets good pressure right there at Vita Vea, and I throw that ball away. Probably lucky to avoid an intentional grounding right there, to be honest with you. 1:19 to go. I still have all 3 timeouts. Ball at the Tampa Bay 47. Quick snap. This time, no stop and go. I just run it right up the middle. And this right here is what I'm thinking, okay, this guy actually thinks I'm going to throw. You know, a lot of people have really good inside zone defense out of 3-3-5 wide. And the fact that that guy wasn't prepared to shoot that gap right there, maybe slow on the reaction time, all of a sudden that kind of trickled into my mind. I was like, okay, this guy thinks I'm throwing every down. So that's in the back of my head for sure right here. Audible down from the trips tight end into the bunch tight end. I'm looking for the tight end delay fade. I put the running back on an option route to sit underneath, hold the user. That way I could have a slant going right to left, across or left to right. Tight end delay fade in the hitch underneath if I need to dump it down. So right here, I'm rolling out, looking for something, playmaker up the field. That was a design playmaker. I wanted to playmaker that running back, make his user follow it, and then leak the tight end out behind it. And that's exactly what I get to happen right there is Bobby Tonyan with a huge grab and a first down. He got deflated right there. So I go ahead and put in Dominique Daphne, who is a low overall player with really good speed. But I put in Daphne to give Tonyan a break right there. I want Tonyan fresh for the red zone. Again, right here, I go to the stop and go. I might have been able to keep that off left guard right there. But again, I'm really content. I go no huddle. I'm going to take this down with 24 seconds and ticking and ticking and ticking. Another inside zone. And Aaron Jones is able to fall forward. It's going to make it 3rd down and short. 3rd and 2. I burned my second timeout with 17 seconds left. So this has gone exactly the way I wanted this drive to go. I'm in prime spot right here. 3rd down and 2, a timeout. The whole playbook is open. And he's in this double A gap defense. Now, keep in mind what I'm about to do here on 3rd down and 2. See right here, I'm looking for a little designed rollout delay fade to the tight end, but notice that he's on the goal line fade, which has that stutter and then to the outside, because I think this play is drawn up beautifully. Right here, I decide that I want to kind of dress this up with everything trickling over to the right side. And I want to kind of roll away right here. I roll away from the pressure on purpose, pull the user, and I'm looking for backside Tonyan right there. And that little stutter and that goal line fade to the outside pulled him right into the zone. That would have been a game-winning touchdown right there. I still think that is genius play design, just for the record. But, you know, unfortunately, the change in what the fade was killed me right there. So 4th down and 2. And one thing I noticed on 3rd down and 2 was he dropped the entire play. He dropped everyone into coverage on there. And then he stands over my running back. So I'm thinking, okay, he's got no gap shoot on this. I'm going to motion, pull a user away, or pull the DB away from the trip side, and I'm going to run inside zone. And I do exactly that. I get a great block from Tavon Austin, and I'm down to the 1. Down to the 1 with 6 seconds to go. 1st and goal. So right here, I'm in between. I'm like, okay, do I want to run the ball from an under center where he might be able to shoot the gap? I think not. And then I'm like, okay, I don't have a hot route master, but I know my favorite route in this spot is a angle route to the tight end. I know that's one of the best man beating routes down the goal line. I bait him into goal line defense, and I'm thinking, okay, let's isolate the user to the left. I want him to go over to Devontae Adams. He's got the red zone threat. I'm going to go ahead and bring the receiver in motion over. I want the user on the left side. I'm going to look for Bobby Tonyan in the back of the end zone. I've got the clutch trait. Let's go ahead and let this rip, because this is going to give me an opportunity for 2 plays. Tonyan over the middle, high ball, and somehow the high pass doesn't allow Tonyan to get 2 feet down. So here we go. 2nd down and goal. It's not even really 2nd and goal. It is game in the goal right here. And I'm thinking, do I want to stay under center? I'm like, nah, you know what? My opponent has had really bad shotgun run defense this entire game. Let's call inside zone and see what they give me right here. So I go ahead and come out and trips tight end. Now, what I'm going to do right here, guys, What I'm going to do right here is I'm going to audible into the bunch tight end because I've not run a single inside zone out of this the entire game. His user stands over the center. I'm not going to run this ball at this point, but keep in mind right here, now he goes over to the right B gap and he gives me the walk-in touchdown, and I'm able to move on to the third round. Guys, this game was absolutely bananas. Again, I feel like this should have been a blowout walk away win for me right there, but sometimes Madden doesn't want that to be that way, you know. I'm not trying to sound like that guy, but I don't know if you watch that game and think that that was anything other than a 2 or 3 score win for me. I'm not sure what game you're watching, but I was able to overcome it, man. There was a lot of nuance to my opponent's defense in that game that I paid attention to, and I had to overcome some of that fluke. All the throwaway, the throw off his back foot, the multiple aggressive catches, the intentional groundings that were called and weren't called, you know, not being able to get off the field on third down despite repeated throws to the same player. Yeah, I made a couple mistakes, but overall, I felt like I deserved better in that game. But all's well that ends well. We're on into the 4th round, and that'll be our video tomorrow, guys. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, please feel free to drop those below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Head over to gridirongameplans.gg. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. Looking forward to breaking down tomorrow's footage with you guys. We'll see you guys then. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab in. Good luck.